Broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Here's your host, Andrew Romanella.
Okay? Like, just get the hell out of here. Nobody cares what you think if you're not a Mets fan.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another edition of The Rome Show, broadcasting live on YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm your host, Andrew Romanella. I got you for the next 20 or 25 minutes, and boy, do we have a fun show for the people. We're talking golf, we're talking ownership in the National Football League, we're talking MLB TV deals, and so much more. Starting a little early today, getting done a little early today. As we've been mentioning, we are in the midst of baseball season, so we're trying to get to the facility on time to get the boys right and make sure we're ready for our February 20th first pitch, centenarycyclones.com. If you want to check out the boys and come see, I don't know, what this radio show guy's all about from a baseball coaching standpoint. From a radio standpoint, you can reach out on all the social media sites, youtube.com/the Romanellas. We ask that you hit the subscribe button when you go there, youtube.com/the Romanellas. A lot of great content on there from me and my beautiful fiance, Juliana, who is both a Division I gymnast, a Pilates instructor, a fitness enthusiast, and just a very enjoyable person to follow along through the YouTubes, facebook.com/The Rome Show, and Twitter X and Instagram, The Rome Show 1. That's Twitter X and Instagram, The Rome Show, the number 1. Just go ahead, hit that subscribe or follow button. We really appreciate that. If you don't like any of those, or you just simply don't want to look at my face, make your life a little bit easier, The Rome Show podcast, wherever we get podcasts. Joel Daemen is somebody that has been on the PGA Tour for a bunch of years now. However, at the end of his 2025 season, he was not very good. I think he missed like 5 of his last 7 possible cuts on the tour at the end of the year last year. He currently sits as, I believe, like the 122nd ranked player in the world, and currently does not have a full-time PGA Tour card, which means he does not play a full PGA Tour schedule like the full-time card-holding members. So in order for him to get into certain tournaments, he has to apply for an exemption, specifically a sponsor exemption. So you have to ask the sponsor of the tournament, one of them, to hand over essentially a free entry into this tournament, regardless of how good or bad your golf play is. We've seen this happen with professional athletes and some others over the course of time. But this is a great way for partially carded amateur players to get in. Well, Joel Daemen has found himself in this position going into the 2026 season. He had a great weekend yesterday at the Farmers Insurance Open. I think he finished tied for 9th. At like minus 13 or 14, which is a far cry from anywhere he was at the end of 2025. So Joel Daemen, with the WM Waste Management opening happening at TPC Scottsdale in 72 hours from now, arguably one of the most fun golf tournaments on tour, Joel Daemen put together one of the best player exemption letter asks I have ever seen. The letter's on your screen now. I'll read it to you real quickly. To Chance and the Thunderbirds, I hope you're doing well. I'm writing to respectively request a sponsor exemption for the 2026 WM Phoenix Open. As a Scottsdale resident, the tournament has always meant more to me than a typical tour stop. It's home. I feel the energy around the town well before tournament week, and I've had multiple unique experiences seeing this event from every angle, from attending as a mini tour player, dreaming about hitting a 9-iron into the 16th, which I did, by the way, into the sand, but we got out of it and got par, don't you worry, to competing with the full attention of one of the best crowds in the sport. Over the years, I've tried to embrace what makes the WM different, the fans, the atmosphere, and the understanding that personality is a part of the product. I like to think I've contributed positively to the identity and helped showcase why this tournament stands apart on the schedule. And to clarify, best line in the whole letter, if granted exemption in 2026, I can confidently say I plan to keep my shirt on at all times unless otherwise directed by the Thunderbirds. A few years ago in this tournament, Joel had an elite hole 16. The fans were going wild, and he ripped his shirt off and began to Happy Gilmore whip it around his head, around the green. Electric stuff. Unfortunately, however, if he gets the exemption, you will not see that beautiful body running around the green. Difficult for all of us fans, I know. This event works because of the incredible job you do, blend world-class golf with unmatched fan engagement, and I'm proud to be associated with that, especially in my hometown. I care deeply about the WM, the Thunderbirds, and the role this tournament plays in representing Scottsdale to the world. Thank you for consideration. I'm honored to be for the opportunity to tee it up in 2026, yada, 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 yada. Yada. That's a great letter from Joel Daemen, and a little bit of insight, besides the fact that that gave me a chuckle, because if you've never seen it, go check it out. Full Swing documentary on Netflix. I get no promo for that. It's just awesome. I love golf. And Joel's in the Netflix documentary, and he's in it with his former caddy, who was his best friend, who's been his caddy for forever, but he actually fired after the 2025 season. So there's a lot of insight in that documentary. And you get a little bit more knowledge on who this Joel Daemen cat is. So you start to understand that's his personality. But nonetheless, we'll see if he gets the exemption at the WM Phoenix Open. I hope he does. I hope he does, because I think based on what I've learned about him the last 3 or 4 years, not an avid 122nd golfer in the world guy, but I'm an avid entertainment guy. I like entertainment. I like being entertained while also being entertained by quality sport. The WM Phoenix Open gives you that opportunity. Some big news in Major League Baseball. Again, you want to get in on the action, youtube.com/the Romanellas, Twitter X, and Instagram, The Rome Show 1. You can comment live, and we can have a nice old conversation. Major League Baseball has some big things going on right now. And I feel like what's gone on in the last few months, I guess I should say, is Major League Baseball has continued to work through either can we get somewhere without a potential lockout, or is this going to be a lockout? We've talked about this a few times on the show in the last bunch of months. If you follow the social media, we put out a 5-step essentially guide to what could lead to the Major League Baseball lockout. And there has been no lie in this entire situation. The Major League Baseball lockout, okay, has been on the table for a minute now. All right. And it's all been based around finances for the lower level teams. How do we get this to be more parity driven from a team's spending money standpoint? And on top of that, how do we get our sport popularity to feel a lot more like the sport of football? And we've said this multiple times. The television deals hurt Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball has the regional coverage, which a while ago felt like the right move. But now it's all about national coverage. So Major League Baseball has been trending towards making those decisions. So 6 Major League Baseball teams have moved on from regional coverage, okay, and signed on with Major League Baseball, okay? Major League Baseball now owns the rights to the Miami Marlins, the Milwaukee Brewers, Cincinnati Reds, Kansas City Royals, St. Louis Cardinals, and the Tampa Bay Rays. Those 6 teams no longer are associated with Main Street Sports, which was a subsidiary of FanDuel Sports, which has been handling the regional sports coverage for the last few years for these teams. And had been handling a lot of the regional baseball coverage for a lot of Major League Baseball. Now, there are only 3 teams remaining on that regional television deal: the Atlanta Braves, the Los Angeles Angels, and the Detroit Tigers. So, what does that mean? That means that Major League Baseball is looking to control, in the next few years, all 30 teams' television coverage. Okay? The NFL kind of just did this with ESPN, right? Though, as I've mentioned before, multiple streaming services, so it's almost impossible. But baseball wants to control the national narrative. They want to be more national. So now those 6 teams should have more of a national footprint going into the 2026 season because they are covered underneath Major League Baseball and MLB TV, and less blackouts now. So you can watch the Brewers in Florida. I can watch the Marlins in California. I can be in the state of Wyoming, who ain't near anybody, and I can watch all 6 of those teams if I want to. I don't have to be in a regional area. We get killed by this in New York. Between SNY and Yes Network, and then the fight with the cable companies. I mean, hell, they created Gotham Sports Network, but you still need a certain television package when you get on that to link into having SNY, having the, like, it's just like, it's ridiculous, especially when you're so close to your home team. And I get it. Back in the day, it was less about national. It was more about regional. It made sense. And also, more people were going to games, I think, or it was easier. It was more of the thought process than watching it on TV, because TV wasn't the common medium. Being live at the game was the common medium. So things change, you change. But this signifies a major, almost last lap of this race step for Major League Baseball to control the television rights for all 30 Major League Baseball teams. We have some really exciting news coming your way in the next few days. Okay. Been working my tail off on some types of sponsorships for the show, and you get some, you don't get some. Some people don't even respond. Some people make you feel like you're stupid. Nonetheless, guys, stick your neck out there. Best lesson I learned in life, not the best one of the best ones though. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. So we've been reaching out to some people, trying to get some love. And we actually received ourselves a really nice ambassador program for a golf company called Fig Tree Golf. I know. Awesome stuff. So starting next week, we're working on a little bit of our advertising and our marketing and what we're going to do here at the Rome Show. We have to talk to the head of our marketing department, Andrew Romanella, because he's got to get with our host, Andrew Romanella, and the editor of the show, Andrew Romanella. We got to make sure we're all on the same page with the vision of the CEO, Andrew Romanella, on the radio show. So some people we got to talk to when it comes to getting this all set up. But nonetheless, big news coming next week. It's like a 15 or 20% discount on this golf website if you use the code that we give you on the Rome Show. So that is electric. And that leads me to, oh yeah, we have sponsors currently. Let's hear from them, and then we'll finish this show.
What is one thing every great leader has in common? They challenge their people to not stop at the first right answer. Tighten the Lug Nuts is a leadership book that will teach you how to move past the first right answer with entertaining and detailed examples founded in real-world concepts and experiences. Accelerate towards your professional goals with Tighten the Lug Nuts, one of the best leadership books available.
Yeah, it's the Rome Show. Welcome back in, Andrew Romanella. It is February 3rd. If you were wondering, Punxsutawney Phil did not see his shadow. So we are 6 more weeks of winter. I guess. I don't know. Someone has to explain to me how a groundhog is the deciding factor for our weather the next 6 weeks. I just need to understand. Are we that just praying for a weather change. You know, I saw today or yesterday that Florida is like 10 degrees colder than Alaska right now. Like everything's flipped temperature wise. I don't know. But since 1875 or something, I heard yesterday, this Punxsutawney Phil character has been rolling his way out of the hill, okay, or the hole, excuse me, and then standing there doing literally nothing, offering nothing, looking like an animal from a movie I've seen multiple times. Great movie, by the way. And then we all either get excited or we don't. I made this rant yesterday, the Rome Show 1, Twitter X, and Instagram if you want to hear it. I clipped it down to a minute. Just so stupid to me. So stupid. There are some traditions in life that like you just got to be okay getting rid of. And I know it's tough. You know, you have certain things you've done for 20, 30, 40 years in your family, in your friend group. It's hard to have those things die. But when you logically think about certain things, like Groundhog's Day, a groundhog coming out of the ground to tell us what the weather's going to be for 6 weeks, I'm good. Unless you're going to give me off from work. Is that a national holiday? If it's a national holiday, I'll celebrate the groundhog all day. Come on out, Punxsutawney. I'll make you some breakfast. Come on. Come tell us the weather for the next 6 weeks. The guy that's making $1 million a year on television cannot tell us the weather for tomorrow. But Phil's got it. Phil's going to do it. I don't know. Wild. Make it a national holiday, and I'll start to not think that it's stupid. What is stupid is what's going on with the owner of the New York Football Giants right now. No, not John Mara, who we have been talking about for what feels like the last year and change. One, on a sad note, praying for him as he battles cancer. But two, based on what's gone on in the organization. No, we're talking about Steve Tisch here, the other owner of the New York Football Giants. Over the last few days, it is if you are living under a rock, you probably don't know this is going on. But obviously, the Epstein files have been a gigantic conversation globally, politically, whatever terminology you want to use, for a couple of years now. As those 3 million files have been released, it has come to the attention of the people reporting this, the people investigating this, that Steve Tisch, the majority owner, half owner, whatever, of the Giants, has showed up 440 times in emails with Jeffrey Epstein during the course of the year 2013. 440 times. Steve Tisch came out and had this to say. We had a brief association where we exchanged emails about adult women. And in addition, we discuss movies, philanthropy, and investments. Oh, my God. This is gross. I did not take him up on any of his invitations and never went to his island. As we all know now, he was a terrible person and someone I deeply regret associating with. This is not good for the Giants. This is not good for the Tisch family. This is not a good look at all. Okay? Because this doesn't show me that you happen to get mixed up for a little bit with a guy that's a complete scum. This does not show me that, okay? It shows me that you have, and a lot of people, but we are not about to go through this entire list because this is not a political show, nor do I want to go down this rabbit hole. But it just shows me that you are not a good guy. You don't have any intuition. You don't have any thought. Better yet, you actually engage in exchanging some of those emails. And when you read some of the ones you find online, it's like, bro, you're like the reason that some major movies in Hollywood have been produced. You are the part owner of one of the best franchises in the National Football League, one of the most recognizable brands in professional sports, in the largest city, market, whatever. My guy. Have some feel. Who's advising this dude? Like, I feel like these older owner dudes, like, are perpetually making dumbest, weirdest decisions ever. Remember the Washington Commanders owner? He got fined like $60 million for gross workplace misconduct. That also led to John Gruden being exiled from the league. Like, what? some of the things you hear coming out of some of these teams is gross. And this, which will be investigated by the National Football League, is that for Steve Tisch, and it's that for the New York Football Giants. And it's just, how about Robert Kraft? Remember the massage therapy thing? I mean, they just, like, you're the owner of a professional franchise in the largest, most popular league in not just America anymore. I think there are 9 international games next year, 3 in London alone, but 9 international football games next year. This sport is growing at a rapid rate and no longer just in America. This might be the world's favorite game in 50 years. When I am 85 years old and I am doing the 57th year of the Rome Show, we might be talking about that. We might be talking about how the National Football League is the world's game now. That football on the world stage has officially changed. Do I fully believe that? No. But could it happen? Could I see it? Yeah. 100%. But yet we have owners that are so bad morally. They don't have a good enough compass inside of them to judge character and say, this is probably someone I do not want to be associating with. So we'll see what happens, but it just feels like the Giants cannot get out of their own way. Good. Oh, man, this feels great. John Harbaugh, this is awesome. Franchise feels it's going in the right direction. Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbo. Woo, 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 woo. Dumb decision by their owner. And you never know when these decisions are going to come back on you. That's why it matters so much. And in the world of the internet and social media and texting, it's not gone. It's just hidden. But someone most likely uncover it. We're going to uncover how Team USA is at the Milan Cortano Olympics starting on Friday. I'm really excited because tomorrow actually starts the Olympic Games from the standpoint of competition, okay, with curling. And then on Thursday, women's hockey and snowboarding, okay? So you'll actually get some Olympics starting tomorrow with curling, then Thursday with women's hockey, and Thursday with snowboarding. Then the opening ceremonies are on Friday. So over the next few days, we'll start our 2026 Milan Cortano Olympics coverage. And boy, am I excited for that. We'll be back tomorrow at the normal time, 7:05. And I believe, ladies and gentlemen, we will be joined by the one and only Rocky Romanella. We'll be talking about that USA Olympic roster and so much more. I'm Andrew Romanella. You have an electric Tuesday. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, peace.
Thank you for listening.